Alright, you there?
Yeah.
Running?
Yeah.
Alright. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Alright. This is your brother Kahan.
And Brother Nagad.
Yatazaka.
And Brother Nagad.
Alright, from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp in
Yeah.
Trinidad.
Yeah.
Alright, so first and foremost, Call Alayam. I receive double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone at Rulewell. Peace, blessings, salutations unto the brothers who preach and teach in the truth, surely four corners of the earth. In truth and sincerity, risking our lives and the freedom to do so no more than ever for this truth. Shalom unto the Aquats, you know, and with the sisters,
And to the speckled
and to the
Israelites.
speckled Israelites, you know, say shalom. So we don't have a title for this video as yet, you know, but we're going into a bit of history again, because I say we have books in our library, and it's time, you know, we start getting into these books. So again, Babylon to Timbuktu by Ralph R. Windsor. You know, let's be going into this. Pretty soon I will be doing a video by myself, linking this with Nature Knows No Color Line, right? So this video consists on really the Jews which were called Moors being in Spain, and subsequently the Spanish Inquisition. Alright, so without further ado, let me get into it.
Right.
Read the title and you will.
Right. It's like the explosion of the Jews.
Expulsion.
Slacky, the expulsion of the Jews from Spain and Portugal.
Alright, so we have to understand the Jews was being expelled from Spain and Portugal. Right? They were known as the Moors, and that era was considered the Dark Ages, right? Because the dark races ruled for 1,000 years throughout Europe. Alright? Hence reason they call it Dark Ages or medieval times.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, unlike what Christianity taught here.
Alright, so go ahead.
Right. It was AD 1492.
Right, AD 1492, which was just the other day.
Yeah, I think we himself learned in school about 1492 with Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, go ahead.
So go ahead.
January 2nd, when the Moorish stronghold of Granada,
which is in Spain, go ahead.
surrendered to the armies of the King
Ferdinand
and Queen Isabella. For the first time since the year 711.
Yeah.
711, yeah.
All of Spain was in Christians' hands.
Right, all of Spain was in the so-called white man hands. Alright? This was coming to the end of our rulership within Spain.
Hope you listen to this vocab.
Right, because after our expulsion, our decline from Spain, our decline of rulership from within Spain, is where they started to load us up on ships and shipped us to Brazil to serve slavery. And whosoever escaped, their escape route was back to Africa on the west coast. Alright, go ahead.
The decree to expel the Jews from Spain was signed out March 31st. In one of the corridors of the great Alhambra.
Yeah.
The place of the Moorish king of Granada.
Think of Grenada, but that's Granada.
The reason given for the expulsion of the Jews was that it was though they corrupt the
No, they occupied.
Huh? No, they corrupt.
Or corrupt. Oh, sorry, like yeah.
Corrupt the Marners.
Jews converted to Christianity.
Right, there was forcing Jews to convert to the Caesarea Borgia.
Yeah.
Alright?
That's why our people in love with Christianity so much and won't let it go.
But
By privately ensuring them in disloyalty to Christianity, the ultimatum given to the Jews expired August 1st, 1492.
right? Because what they was doing was forcing Jews to convert to the Christianity, and who wouldn't convert, they will be stripped off the slavery. So some would likely be put to death. Alright? Go ahead.
But the last group of Jews did not leave until August 2nd, 1492.
Go ahead.
This date is of strange coincidence that day was the 9th of AB, the fast.
The 9th of what?
The 9th of AB, the fast day, which is remnants of the destruction of the first and second temples. Professor Allen H. Godby says that the reign of the last Jew king of Ghana terminated in 1492 in order to satisfy Queen Isabella of Spain. King Manuel of Portugal promulgated a royal decree expelling the Jews and Moors from
which means he set a standard now, boy. Right? That's roughly, right? Right.
It's expelling the Jews and Moors from his country.
He set an order. Right? He bring forth an order. Go ahead.
In 1496, the Jews who were expelled from Spain and Portugal were scattered throughout the
Mediterranean coast.
Mediterranean coast. It is estimated that over 100,000 Jews departed from Spain and Portugal during the persecution and the expulsion. Some of these Jews went to northern Europe, Italy, and Turkey.
Right, Constantinople, Constantinople and what have you. Right, a lot of these Jews fled back to those regions, right, because they know our people were still fluctuating those places, right, and hence what make us end up even taking over more of Europe, right, because we was all in Central Europe, all in Eastern Europe and what have you, right. Go ahead.
But most of them that went to Muslim countries of Northern and Western Africa.
Of Northern and what?
More of Northern and Western Africa.
Right, because remember, Islam that done started to take over the scene already. Right? Islam had already started to take over. By the gun and the sword. Right? By the sword. Right? So a lot of them fled back over to these places. Hence the reason again, even when we had fell from our rulership in England, well, not only England but through the British, through the so-called through our empire, what we had, right? You would find when the British went over to Ghana to conquer the Ashanti Kingdom in Kumasi, Ghana, they end up finding a jug, right? They end up finding a brass jug that has the British coat of arms. Now, this is the question you so-called white people must ask yourself: how the hell, if you all was always ruling Europe, right? How the hell that jug could be found quite over in Kumasi, Ghana, in the Ashanti Empire, in the Ashanti Kingdom, right? How the hell all they could find that quite in the 1800s?
Wow.
With a monogram on it.
Right? With the
A
British,
coat of arms.
with the coat of arms, with the British coat of arms.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? It is proven facts. We can go up and look it up.
Yeah.
Right? But for time's sake, we will leave that for another time. So go ahead, you can have more reading, a little more reading.
Right. He said these black Jews would naturally go to African countries, most of all because of less persecution, and they could disguise themselves easily among blacks.
Among what?
Among blacks.
Which is the other Africans.
Yeah.
Right? We could disguise ourselves easily amongst the other Africans.
Yeah.
Hence the reason we fled right back, because it's really back to the people because they know the people, because when you go through history you would see that it was a back and forth with those who was in Europe going back to on the west coast of Africa to get gold and what have you. You understand? And do trade and whatnot. So it was always a back and forth. Right? So they know there was residing there, hence the reason why they fled there for safe haven. Alright? So now, right? So now you're going to go, you read this here now.
Yes, please can say it was always a back and forth with the Israelites going to Africa, back and forth coming in. You understand? And due to us staying in Africa, some of our people converted to African tradition. And that's why you get names like Yoruba, Mandingo, and the list goes on. You understand? Some of us even bring out Hamite tradition from Africa across to the west, and converting to Hamitic religion.
You read on here.
That way you get your Orisha Shango and your spiritual Baptist and all the things.
For many,
You know,
many blacks.
but funny life is they also
For time's sake.
they also mix it with Roman Catholicism.
Right?
So it's like it's really a trick
Yeah,
of the nations. The nations really
From many black Jews to here.
the nations really come together
Full stop here. Yeah.
to alter the history of the Israelites. You know, but continue.
Right.
Because let's go, as I said, going into the expulsion of the Jews, the Israelites, right, from Portugal, Spain, right? Go ahead.
This is page 128.
Angola.
Right. No, from here.
Now,
It says from many black Jews were established in islands and along the coast of Angola,
yeah, which is Western Africa. Go ahead.
the Congo, and Gabon. Frederick Ratzel.
Frederick.
Friedrich
Ratzel.
Yeah.
Right that the tribes on the Luango coast and the Cabinda north of the Congo River were once Christianized. Ratzel observed a ceremony of baptism followed by circumcision. However, these tribes were Jewish in origin.
The Jews in origin, right? Go ahead, follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments. Go ahead.
The Christianity Ratzel saw among them was a disguise.
Was what?
A disguise.
Was a disguise, because a lot of us, due to persecution by these white people, these so-called white people, when we was in Europe, and right, we practice their Christianity on the outside, but you know, behind closed doors, we kept our heritage. Right, go ahead.
The circumcision practice among them is of Jewish.
Don't say Jewish.
Yeah,
Jews.
of Jew.
Deviation?
No.
Deviation.
Jewish deviation.
Deviation. Deviation. I don't know what is that. Listen. Deviation.
Yeah, derivitation. Alright, go ahead.
The Christians in Portugal did not practice circumcision.
The Christians in where?
In Portugal.
Right, right. The Israelites who convert to Christianity and whatnot, did not practice it in Portugal. Go ahead, we go see the reason why. Go ahead.
In fact, Sally Root wrote that circumcision among Jews in Portugal.
No, actually Cecil Roach.
Cecil Root.
Yeah.
Cecil Root.
Yeah,
Like
like Cecil Roach. Like Cecil Roach.
Yes, Cecil.
Rot or root.
Roach.
Root. Yeah.
Cecil wrote that circumcision among Jews in Portugal was particularly an impossibility for its
It was impossible for us to keep our customs right. Go ahead.
For its discovery was equal to a death sentence. Godbey wrote concerning the Mavumbu Jews on the Loango Coast.
Alright, so let me link that back up where it was impossible for us to circumcise our children, the boys. If anytime it was discovered, it was death. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 41. Right? Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his own laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. Just as the same thing as see here. A lot of the Israelites end up following the customs of the heathen around them. You understand? So coming to the customs of the heathen around them. Right? Yea, many of the Israelites consented to Israel. I read that part, verse 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, right? That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their soul abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all ordinances. Verse 50, coming into the impossibility it was for them, because should they do that, the penalty was death.
Yeah.
So right, verse 50, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Right? So, right? It's the same, so what they're showing you is the same spirits from since back then, is the same spirits that came back, that the Most High put back upon the face of the earth. Right? Within these Edomites, during the Spanish Inquisition, to do the same thing that Antiochus, that their forefather Antiochus was doing unto us, our forefathers, right? During the Spanish Inquisition, because the Spanish Inquisition, the word Inquisition just simply means inquiry, to inquire of something. And what they were doing was inquiring who are the Jews and who is practicing their original customs, their customs of their nationality. That is what they were inquiring about. And if they find out anybody, during the inquiry that practicing their customs, their punishment would be death. Right? That's what the whole Spanish Inquisition was about. Alright? So now, you almost finished here. Alright? Go down now to this part here. Read. Yeah, this whole thing here, and then it will skip and come down to here. So go ahead, read. Yeah, but read here first, into here, and then it's skipping and come down to here. So read here first. Go ahead.
It said, in the year 1547, the papal office authorized...
Right, which is these popes and what have you, right?
Yeah. Roman Catholicism.
Right, Roman Catholicism, because what you have to understand, the Roman Catholic Church played a big role in our slavery. It played a big role in our downfall, the Roman Catholic Church. Go ahead, read.
The papal office organized that the establishment of the system of the Inquisition in Portugal. The word Inquisition means inquiry. Yeah, inquiry of investigation.
So you see, there was making an inquiry of us, an investigation of us, right? Who's the ones that practicing the customs and what have you, right?
Kind of like what happened by Yasadna.
Yeah.
What kind of language is speaking?
Yeah, and all these things, right? Go ahead.
Right, the
Inquisition
consists of a tribunal of religious judges.
Right, go ahead.
So hold on. So you say, read that part over again?
Right. You say the Inquisition consists of tribunal of
tribunal
of religious judges.
So when they hold the men of the Lord for preaching this gospel in this last time, what do you think we'll be in front of? A tribunal of judges.
Yeah.
Because the Christian church will get together and say, this is not the order of Christianity, Western denominational Christian. We teaching something different. Or they would want to call what we teaching heresy.
Yeah.
And what we teaching is thus says the Lord. Hey, it's going to be a bumpy ride. We continue.
It could be nothing new under the sun. Go ahead.
Its purpose was to investigate the purge out.
To what? To purge out?
Right. To investigate and purge out heretical Christians.
Heretical mean well, that is right, heresy, meaning that if it's not according to what the Christian is teaching, they call it heresy or none. It is not a doctrine of holiness. I would use that word. But you can look it up. Look it up and they're saying it's not a doctrine of holiness, it is not according to the scripture, that's what they see. You understand? So they would call the Hebrew Israelite what we teach is not according to what they teach, so they call it heretical because it's not going according to the so-called law.
They say heretical, right? It is believing in or practicing religious heresy of or relating to adherence to religious opinion contrary to church dogma.
So what we are preaching is contrary to church dogma. The Hebrew Israelite, this thing what we're teaching here, this truth that is here, it's contrary to your Christian dogma. Read.
Right, so go ahead, read.
And that's so on point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Person who questions certain Christian principles.
Right, and that's what we did right from back then even to now, and we doing the same thing. We questioning the Christian church with their wickedness, right? With their doctrines, their false doctrines. Go ahead.
Although some white Portuguese.
Although some who?
Although some white Portuguese.
Right, these Edomites. Go ahead.
Christians suffered at the hands of the Inquisition.
Yeah.
This system was mainly directed against the new Christians.
Right, against the Jews, right, who ended up converting because they still wanted to make sure.
Although some white Portuguese.
Right. Although some white Portuguese Christians suffered at the hands of the Inquisition.
So and I sure those are speckled blue Israelites.
Yeah, most
Israelites.
Most likely to be most likely, more than likely could be speckled Israelite.
Who goes back
that
to the far,
even you see it in this time here, that even with the civil rights movement in America, they had some white people was persecuted with black people for
well, some of them was control opposition, right? But
for just hold on for how should you call it again for trying to get justice for the black man. Let me put it this way. But according to Apostle Ariambla, he said one time what you were going to figure out, we were going to find out that some of these white people were actually Israelites. That doing that. But go ahead. And we've been calling them right way. And please can't use the right word, speckled bird.
Right, go ahead.
This system was mainly directed against the new Christians, the secret black Jews.
The secret Jews, right? The Jews who were keeping their heritage in secret. Right? Because it was a death penalty for us, to keep it. So go ahead.
The Inquisition were presidented gruesome and ruthless in the
totality.
Yeah, totality of their producers.
Right, so they come like this. We go back to the Maccabees again, right? To the kind of torture that Ptolemy and Antiochus and all of them was having us under, in order for us to eat pork and all these things, and for us to follow their ways and all these things. Right? In that new under the sun. So go ahead.
They interfered in the private affairs of individuals. They intimidated they intimidated and
coerce, like in oh gosh. Coerce, that's not.
Look up that word, look up the word.
I can explain, but I want to coerce, like somebody coerce you into something, force it, or force you to say something that you don't want to say now, boy.
Right, coerced. But look up
spell it out for me.
Coerced. Coerced. I mean, that's why I see me.
Right, to persuade somebody, an unwilling person, to say something using force or threat. Right, that was no saying. The force it to say something that you don't want to say, force it to do something that you don't want to do. That you mean not coerce. You coerce somebody into something. Right, so go ahead.
They intimidated and coerced individuals to inform on their neighbors.
Right? Right, the force people to. So they come like this, you know, they put me, they pay people out, they pay me against you, right? To inform, to mark what you to see what you're doing and what to go back and tell.
Like an informant.
Right? An informant, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They employed a wide variety of continuous horrendous tortures, including public shows of burning human beings and at the stake.
Something like the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan is a burn process and black people lawn and hang we upside down.
Burning alive in front of everybody.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
so they see saying nothing new under the sun.
Go ahead.
And in order to satisfy the desire for the punishment of heretics, they sought out not only the living but also the dead.
Right, they will want to dig up graves and all these things, right? But we ain't going into that. Go continue to that, you know.
In other case, a Jew woman by the name of Elivera del Campo was indicated and tortured for 2 years in order
indicted.
Indicated.
Indicated.
I will tell you. Indicted. Yeah. You see is silent.
Okay. Actually, you're right. Indicted.
Were indicted and tortured for 2 years in order to elicit a confession from her.
Right, another guy, a confession from she. Right, go ahead.
The charges against her were not eating pork and putting on clean linen on Saturdays.
Yeah, we say that the charges against her were not eating pork and putting on clean linen on Saturdays.
All right, so watch this, right? I don't want to go into it too much. What I remind you of?
The Maccabees.
Again, when I go to Maccabees chapter 7, where you read about the woman, right? I'll just read a little piece. It came, this Maccabees, 2 Maccabees 7:1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. But one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die, rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Right? So, this woman, she went through 2 years of torture and rather died.
So like, yeah, some nutcase will watch the Saturday part and say like
Yeah,
Madagan,
yeah.
no Madagan go
Yeah,
with
yeah, man, I can go with that, right?
But that's another story.
Yeah, so read.
Right? It's according to this woman, these charges were not heretical practice. She wanted to be clean, and pork made her sick.
Right, so what's this that, yeah? I'm see it to that part.
Don't let that part catch you now and give that Saturday part catch you.
This Saturday now.
Right?
But during that very set time, they change up a lot of our orders.
Yeah.
And
So let's read that last part.
That is my grand thing.
Come on, read it.
It said no. Now we can understand why writers like Friedrich,
like
Friedrich,
Yeah.
Friedrich.
it's like, yeah.
German is Friedrich.
Yeah,
Right.
Friedrich Ratzel considered the tribes along the Loango and Cabinda coast Christians. These Jews had to maintain a certain guide and practice.
Maintain a Christian, so like maintain a
Yes,
Christian.
it's like, yeah. Maintain a Christian guide.
Guys. Yes, guys is
guys,
Christian.
And particularly so in the presence of white people.
In the presence of what?
White people.
These flipping Edomites. Go ahead.
Any
Go ahead.
any Europeans could have been an agent of the
Inquisition or the Inquisition. Go ahead.
It is certain that many black Jews of Portugal, Spain, Slovakia.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's continue. Let's continue all of it.
Yeah.
Right. It's a Tom and
Angola,
who became victims of the Inquisition and Portuguese persecutioners were sold in the slave trade. This Atlantic slave trade lasted more than 400 years, from 1444 to about 1880 in same parts of South America. Some scholars have located black Jews within the entire Niger River bend.
Right? Which is in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Alright? So because today you can drop it from there. Because today, to this day, you will still get Portuguese speaking countries like Angola and Mozambique.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were colonized right, by these Portuguese. Right? Because the first set of slave traders, it was not the British, it was not the French. It was not, it was the Portuguese, Spanish, right?